What's going on, YouTube? This is the SG1 Sports SEC football channel, and we continue to break down the recruiting class for every SEC team here as we continue with Mississippi State, a top 25 class. Very solid recruiting class for this Mississippi State team, and they had a pretty solid year last year. And in this video, we're going to show you all the recruits that they got, but this is not a video to really give you a lot of information on these individual players. It's more about what the team needed and did they fill their needs, and that's what these videos are really about. So I get comments saying, well, you obviously don't know anything about these players. That's not what these videos are about. It would be a long video if we broke down every single player, but we're just kind of doing a quick overview of this recruiting class, and we're going to start with the 5 players who have already enrolled at Mississippi State. They'll be going through the spring. Charles Cross, their lone 5-star recruit, 5-star offensive tackle. Garrett Schrader, potentially the future at quarterback. He's a 4-star. And they also had a 4-star defensive end, a 3-star safety, and a 3-star offensive guard. And again, like I said, in just a minute, I'm going to kind of tell you what I think this team needed, and then we'll show you if they really filled their needs, and we'll kind of grade the class based off of that. So now players that have signed but have not enrolled, you got a 4-star defensive tackle, a 4-star defensive end, a 4-star safety, a 3-star offensive tackle, and a 3-star cornerback. So they added several 4-stars to this class, and we'll break it down by position and show you exactly what they got at each position. They also added a 3-star wide receiver, a 3-star running back, 3-star wide receiver, a 3-star safety, and then a 3-star offensive guard. And they also added a couple of athletes. We'll show you those players here in just a second that I think one of them is going to play running back and the other one maybe at receiver. Not 100% sure on that. But yeah, there were 6 more players in this class. And you can see Lee Witherspoon, that's the one that's going to play running back. Very, very fast kid. You added a 3-star wide receiver, 3-star safety, 3-star defensive end, 3-star athlete, Dylan Lawrence. I'm not sure where he's going to play, but I'm thinking maybe wide receiver as you see that size. And then Brevin Jones, a 3-star offensive tackle. So let's break it down by position. And if you want to talk about what this team needed, I think for the immediate future for 2019, they needed to add some depth on the defensive line and in the secondary. Everywhere else, they're pretty much set. So those were the key areas in my opinion. And looking at it long term, it's also the defensive line because they've got several guys on that defensive line that will be seniors this upcoming season. So that was really, I think, the emphasis. You really needed to add some solid players, add some depth on the defensive line. But we're going to start with offense here. Again, they added their quarterback, maybe the guy of the future, a 3-star running back. We talked about the athlete that will also be playing running back. 3-star wide receivers. Didn't add any tight ends. They added 5 players on the offensive line, again, including a 5-star offensive tackle. And anytime you're at Ole Miss and you can get a player like that, that is huge. That is huge for this program. So we'll see if they can continue to build this offensive line. They've had a very solid offensive line in the past. And again, we go back to that defensive line. They had one of the best defensive lines in the country last season. I think they were very underrated. That's where they really have to reload, I think, for this upcoming season. And especially past this season, into the future. They really need to develop some depth there. But offensively, again, they didn't really need a whole lot. They potentially got their quarterback of the future. Didn't really get anybody that I think is going to be a game changer for them in 2019, but they add some depth. They add some key guys on the offensive line. I think it's a B+. I mean, nothing wrong with this class. I think maybe they could have done a little bit more, but there's nothing to complain about. Nothing that I would say, wow, they needed this position, they didn't get it. And so because of that, I think, yeah, we'll give them about a B+ on offense. And again, we're not ranking these classes or grading them based off of how good the overall talent was. It's more about the filling their needs. And again, if you want to see how these teams did in overall talent, just go to the recruiting rankings on 24/7 Sports or Rivals or wherever, and you'll see where these teams rank. So now we go to the defensive side of the ball. And again, we talked about defensive line. That was the key. They didn't do great. Now, they added 4 players, and they added some quality players. 2 defensive ends and a defensive tackle. They were all 4-stars, and then a 3-star defensive tackle. So they did solid, and 4 players that could contribute right away, potentially get into the rotation. That's very, very big. Maybe would have liked to have seen them get a couple of more. I mean, they really needed some help on that defensive line, I thought. But if they follow this up with a great class next year, and they add another 4 defensive linemen that are all very solid and can play pretty much right away, then I think they did a fine job. But that's going to be the real test for them, because again, the depth is not going to be there as much after 2019. They lost some, basically the whole defensive line last year as far as the starters are concerned, and then heading into this season, they've got several guys that are going to be seniors. So that was really important, I think. They did a good job, but again, I think they could have done a little bit better, maybe added a couple of more guys. But again, this is Mississippi State. This is not Alabama. This is not Georgia. So for Mississippi State, I did think they did a good job. They didn't add any linebackers. That was interesting to me. Not a single linebacker added in this recruiting class. In the secondary, talked about needing some help there right away. They added 5 players in the secondary: a cornerback, a 4-star safety, and then 3 3-star safeties, I should say. So they added a nice boost there into the secondary. That was not an area where I thought they needed his help as much as they did on the defensive line, but they did need some help there and definitely needed some depth. They lost 2 safeties from last season, so they really did a good job getting those guys there and getting some guys that I think could potentially contribute right away. And then also the 2 athletes. We talked about one of them is going to be a running back. The other, I'm not sure, but may play receiver. So again, a very solid recruiting class for Mississippi State. I'll give them a B+ on defense as well. I mean, they didn't sign a linebacker, so maybe that's an area of concern. But they didn't really need one. You still, though, you don't want to just miss a whole position in a recruiting class, in my opinion. But we'll see. And they added some key players on the defensive line and in the secondary where they needed them. Maybe they could have done a little bit more, but still they did a solid job. So a B+ for this recruiting class for Mississippi State. You wondered about Joe Moorhead, his first year, full season there. How would the recruiting class look? And I think he did an excellent job. At a school like Mississippi State, you get a top 25 recruiting class, you're doing something right. So good job for Mississippi State. We'll continue. We have a few more teams to break down here in the SEC. Watch for those over the next couple of days. Thank you guys for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports SEC Football Channel.